concise and informative.
A very beautiful morning to you and welcome to the News Machine, the artist news magazine show on radio, and we are reaching you from our Hot FM stations in Lagos on 93.3 FM, Hot FM Abuja 98.3 FM, and Hot FM Owerri 99.5 FM, 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m. Monday to Friday. I am Victor Eze. This morning on the News Machine, here are some top headlines. New ministers promise to hit the ground running. And Action Aid Nigeria gets new country director. The News Machine will be back after this message.
Now you can get your news on. Hot, fresh, exciting, and exclusive. The News Machine.
Reaching you at the same time in Lagos, Abuja, and Owerri. 3 states for the price of 1. Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m.
The News Machine. More than just news.
Hot FM.
We are more than just radio.
Welcome back to the News Machine. The recently sworn-in ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria are upbeat about their eagerness to hit the ground running. They have expressed confidence about successfully implementing President Bola Tinubu's 8-point agenda. The agenda borders on national security, economy, agriculture, power, oil and gas, transportation, education, healthcare, the digital economy, women empowerment, and judicial reform, amongst others. The developmental targets are along the 8 priority areas of President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda for his administration. Wale Edun is the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy.
Examined the President's 8-point agenda, his 8 priority areas for moving the Nigerian economy forward and for delivering to Nigerians. And those are basically food security, ending poverty, economic growth and job creation, access to capital, particularly consumer credit, inclusivity in all its dimensions, particularly as regards youth and women, improving security, improving the playing field on which people and particularly companies operate, rule of law, and of course, fighting corruption.
Abubakar Kyari is the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development.
So basically, that is it. We are all fired up as cabinet members.
The ministers unanimously assured that they are inspired by Mr. President's dispositions and the impact of government will soon be evident across the entire nation. Doris Uzoka Anite is the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment.
In Mr. President's manifesto during his campaign, he promised 50 million jobs, and that's our target. And
Ali Pate is the Minister of Health and Social Welfare.
The poorest and most vulnerable populations, girls, women, children, disabled, are an important element in that human capital agenda of this administration. The bias is towards action so that we get things done. I think it's very clear that the President wants us to domesticate our efforts within our own national context, but also to be very practical in the interventions that we make. And with those marching orders, we now have our work cut out for us and will continue to refine as the Coordinating Minister of the Economy indicated.
Recall that after confirmation of the appointment of the 45 ministers by the Senate, they were sworn in by the President on the 21st of August 2023. Since the swearing in, the ministers had familiarized themselves with their ministries. Action Aid Nigeria has appointed Mr. Andrew Mamedu as its new country director. It takes over from Ene Obi, who has served the international organization meritoriously for 6 years. Action Aid Board Chairperson Jumai Ajijola said Mr. Mamedu has been with the organization for the past 18 years and has gone through the ranks and file, learning, sharing, teaching and being grounded to take the position. She noted that the new country director has displayed bravery, dedication and keen understanding of their mission, saying Mamedu has worked closely with the Leadership Action Aid Federation to ensure their vision and mission is achieved.
A moment that embodies the resilience and adaptability of Action Aid Nigeria. Therefore, I'm thrilled.
Mamedu stated in his response that he went through a rigorous 4-day interview process led by the board chair and commended the board of trustees and the entire organization for entrusting him with the responsibility.
It was just like yesterday when we went through the interview process. It was rigorous. 4 days rigorous process led by my board chair. I remember one of the candidates that came from the UN, and he said even the UN Secretary General position is not this rigorous. The interview for that position is not this rigorous. What is Action Aid looking for? I take this position strongly, and I appreciate all that has gone into it for me to.
Prior to the appointment of Mr. Mamedu, he was the Director of Resource Mobilization and Innovation Action Aid Nigeria, saying Mamedu will serve as the country director for 3 to 6 years. Now it's time to get the trending stories from our News Machine studios at FM 98.3 Abuja. Let's hook up with Abuja Report.
Good morning. Here's the news from Abuja. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has directed all contractors in the FCT to go back to the site to complete the project awarded to them by the Federal Capital Territory Administration. Speaking at a meeting with over 15 contractors in Abuja on Monday, Wike noted that himself and the Minister of State, Maria Mahmood, will map out strategy to fund contractors, adding that those handling short-term projects will soon be mobilized to site. Wike, who explained that lack of supervision has been a bane to achieving infrastructure development, warned contractors on delivering on quality projects, adding that it will not be business as usual.
We are not going to tolerate anything below standard. If there are people we are working with who have a compromising standard, too bad. It's not with me. I, every contractor, go back to site and do work. I have agreed with the Minister of State. I have told the management we must structure the way projects are funded. We must also fund projects throughout our generated. I will not be a party to give us contracts and then there are no money to fund.
According to Wike, increasing project funding is critical, adding that diversifying resource fund is a strategy the administration is adopting to avoid owing contractors, which has resulted to some abandoned projects.
We're handling the issue of sanitation, we're handling the issue of street lights, shanties and the rest of them. But the rules are very key. We're trying to see how we can map our strategies, structure of funding, so that we don't have problems of competing. So we are determined to make sure every contractor goes back to site. Not just going back to site with direct supervision from my office and the office of the Minister of State.
He noted that key projects to commence immediately were Abuja Metro Rail Line, road infrastructures in Garikiwan, Usewan, and some part of Maitama, adding that other areas in the territory, both the short-term and long-term plan, will be given adequate consideration in order to ensure the nation's capital wears a new facelift. FCT Command of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested and paraded 20 suspected vandals and manhole thieves. Speaking at the command office in Abuja, the FCT Commandant Olushola Odumosu stated that from the intelligence gathered, most of the arrested thieves pretended to be homeless, slept under the bridges, and were caught stealing manholes and vandalizing government property in various areas in the FCT. While urging the residents to support security agencies, Odumosu said the Corps will no longer tolerate activities of the scavengers in the FCT, adding that the Corps will sanitize the territory of the activities of scavengers, vandals, and other criminals. He warned those with bad intentions in Abuja to vacate the city, hence the law will catch up with them.
The people who vandalizes most of this equipment, they live with us. We are on ground. We have the capacity to take them down. From intelligence reports we have, these people, they are inimical to our security. A number of them that that you see under the bridges, they serve as informants to criminals, and that is why we have to get rid of them. So we want to advise FCT residents to be wary of the activities of miscreants, of scavengers in the name of Abambola, and we'll get rid of all miscreants.
Some of the victims who were paraded narrated why they were being arrested under the bridge and other black spots in the city center.
I was somehow tired, so I wanted to enter into a car that was going to Apo. So surpriseful now, these people came with this kind of motor, and now I enter inside the motor. I was standing around the bridge, I was not sleeping around it. It was 12 or 11.
I'm going to Ape before, around 11, 12.
Car washer, where we wash the car, that's where we sleep. I slept around before I will know police they came.
Beggar Bridge, I was sleeping there because I'm looking for transport to go back to my state in Rivers.
The arrested persons will be handed over to Abuja Environmental Protection Board for proper prosecution. And that's all from the News Machine studio at Hot FM Abuja. I'm Kevin Joseph La, over to Lagos.
All right, let's link up with the News Machine studio at Hot FM 99.5 Owerri for the trending news happening in the southeastern part of the country.
Good morning and welcome to our News Machine studios at Hot FM Owerri. The Labour Party has accused Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State of being behind Monday's attack on its party secretariat in the state. It called on the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to caution Uzodinma against intimidating its members in the state. The National Publicity Secretary of the party, Obiora Ifo, told journalists in a statement that the Imo State chairman of the Labour Party, Kalisto Sihejagwa, raised the alarm in a Save Our Soul message calling on public intervention. The party also urged the IG of Police to order the Commissioner of Police Imo State Command to rise to the occasion to forestall the breakdown of public peace. The Abia State government has commenced demolition of unapproved and illegally erected structures to ensure compliance to city's master plan and town planning laws. Town planning authorities of Osisiomangwa, Obingwa, Aba North, Aba South and Ogunagbo local councils commenced the exercise last weekend and sealed unapproved ones at Aba, the state's main industrial and commercial hub. Some structures sealed were petroleum filling station at Umuojima Junction, Aba Enugu Port Harcourt Expressway, 23 lockup stores at Ayaba Umueze built on the high-tension electric wire, Okwu Umuobo Comprehensive Secondary School allegedly built by the National Agricultural Land Development Authority with a mini stadium in Osisioma without approval. Executive Secretary, Osisioma Town Planning Authority, Chigoziri Ahiwe, who spoke on the exercise, told newsmen that owners of the demolished and sealed structures had no approval. And finally, Enugu State's Governor, Dr. Peter Mba, is set to unveil a pipeline of 30 projects worth over 1.6 trillion naira and introduce the Enugu State Integrated Sector-Based Productivity Growth Strategy during the inaugural Enugu State Investment and Economic Growth Stakeholder Roundtable on Friday. This information was communicated through a statement from Professor Chidebere Onya, who is the Secretary of the State Government, seen by Nairametrics. According to Professor Onya, this is in line with the government's determination to grow the Enugu state economy from $4.4 billion to $30 billion. The roundtable discussion, therefore, will lay the groundwork for long-term partnerships and cooperation that can catalyze Enugu's accelerated economic growth. That's all from the News Machine studios at Hot FM Owerri. Back to our studios in Lagos for the rest of the news. I am Ifeyunwa Nwana.
You're still listening to the News Machine, reaching you from our Hot FM stations in Lagos on 93.3 FM, Hot FM Abuja 98.3 FM, and Hot FM Owerri 99.5 FM, 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m., Monday to Fridays. Let's hear what correspondent Nesta Sani has for us and voices in the news.
Governor Umo Eno of Akwa Ibom State, South Nigeria.
My deputy governor distributed some palliatives to all the local government, and as I go back, I'm scheduled to have a meeting with all the petroleum marketers in Akwa Ibom. So we're looking at those ways, whatever we need to do and the president has directed that state governors, of course, should work on palliatives for the citizenry. We'll do just that. There are a number of things, and as we get into early next week, if you focus on Akwa Ibom, you'll see the various things we are going to put in place to support our people and shield them from the effect of the subsidy removal.
And to the foreign scene, the head of Sudan's army, Abdel Fattah Burhan, has met with members of the government for the first time since the conflict with the rival general erupted in mid-April. Sudan was plunged into chaos after month-long tension between the military led by General Abdel Fattah Burhan and the Rapid Support Forces RSF commanded by Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo exploded into open fighting on the 15th of April. And that's a wrap on today's edition of the News Machine. Do well to have a beautiful day.